Welcome, this is Shakti Corolla Nevrin, your online astrologer, and I just wanted to make a short video for you about the upcoming full moon. So the full moon is kind of one of the most spectacular things we can watch in the skies. And from our perspective from the Earth, it's kind of interesting that the sun has the same size, seemingly, than the moon. So that's why we have solar eclipses. So it seems like that the closeness and the size of those heavenly bodies kind of symbolizing their importance in our life. So following the sun throughout the months in which sign of the zodiac the sun is, and the moon, which is of course moving much faster, will give you a very conscious connection and reflection of who you are in the world through your consciousness, symbolized by the sun, and through your inner world, your emotions, that inner richness and guidance, symbolized by the moon. So in the birth chart, we pay a lot of attention to the sun and moon and how they relate to each other. And we get a lot of mileage out of that to talk about what those inner dimensions and activations are, who steer us from the inside. So following the moon throughout the months is a very rich experience because it helps you to reflect and turn inside and see where you are in your life and how your inner life is kind of reflected in how you perceive the outer life. So the new moon is kind of by definition starting a new cycle. And 2.5 days, the moon goes through each one of the signs. So it's a pretty fast process here. So the new moon is really that starting point, kicking it off. So then when we have the full moon, what we want to talk about today, the full moon is opposing where the sun is. So this month's full moon is in Capricorn, and by definition opposing the sun in Cancer. So the sun in Cancer connects us with the richness of our inner world. It orients us towards family and friends, and connects us to our unconsciousness in a deeper way, and with that to skills and resources we all carry inside. So then now the moon, the full moon in Capricorn. Capricorn is Earth, ruled by Saturn, and in the mainstream astrology, Saturn doesn't have a good reputation because it makes us work and go deep and push against obstacles and grow through them. So nevertheless, Saturn is there for all of us in our birth chart and activations throughout our life through transits. So with this full moon in Capricorn, we get a little taste of that. So our emotional awareness is symbolized by moon in Capricorn. So Capricorn is the archetype of the elder, the wise one, the wise woman, the wise man, teacher. So there's a certain maturity there. And on the low end of Capricorn, there's a sense of duty and taking on a lot of responsibilities and a sense of loneliness maybe. So low end Capricorn is kind of making do with very little, in this case emotionally. So of course the intention is to always kind of tap into the higher potential of those planets in the signs. So the higher potential of the moon and Capricorn is to really tap into that inner wisdom, that maturation you have achieved over time, whatever long in years that might be for your life. So the full moon in Capricorn on the high end is we know what we can do, we know how to set boundaries, we know how to do things. Capricorn is very organized, very structured, very step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4 to get us to the goal. So Capricorns are usually overachievers. They just have learned how to do the great work and achieve usually what they have set out. So here, this full moon, of course, is kind of a very short a moment in time, but nevertheless it's very strong and impactful in that moment. So for you, it's kind of the most important and interesting thing to correlate that back to your own chart, so to see where is that full moon happening. Do you have any planets in Capricorn which get really activated and stimulated through this full moon? So everybody will have this full moon somewhere in their chart. And if you haven't gotten your horoscope, your chart yet, you can go to my website, maoastrologyreading.com, and get it for free when you sign up for my newsletter, which also means I can keep you in the loop with all my forecasts I do on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So it's the best to stay in the loop with signing up for a newsletter. So you will get your free horoscope and what I call a love stone report, because I'm also an expert with gemstones and how we can use gemstones to balance certain areas in our chart. So I give you a taste there with the gemstone for the Venus position in your chart, which will help you, the stone will help you to balance your heart, will help you to heal old wounds and sensitivities. So the full moon is happening July 19th, and it's at 3:56 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it's happening at 27 degrees 40 minutes. So that means if you have anything at 27, 28 degrees in Capricorn or the other earth signs, then you're kind of really in a nice, easy, harmonic flow connected with the potential of what this full moon has to offer. So basically with the sun in Cancer and the moon in Capricorn, it's about that balance of the inner world with that emotional set point of feeling very sensitive and vulnerable, and inwardly and means you need quite some time to have that with yourself, and to balance that off, the time you have for yourself and your family, with who you are in the world and all the responsibilities and commitments you have in the world. And usually we're falling off one end of the scale. Either we too inwardly, we don't want to deal with the world out there and the responsibilities, so we crawl into our shell. Or we push and push and push. We're in the world and we want to be successful, and we spend 18 hours a day on the computer doing something. So of course either situation is not a very helpful one. So what you want to find out with the help of this full moon is how to find that balance, how to have enough time to enjoy your life, basically, and how to get the outer life going and be organized and structured enough to make that happen. My father used to say, I work to live and I don't live to work, which I thought was pretty cool. So this is what it seems to be about with this full moon. So there's also an interesting strong activation with it, with Uranus squaring that. Uranus, the revolutionary, the rebel, symbolizes this moment in time of interruption of continuity, this breakthrough into a new level of consciousness on the high end of possibilities. So Uranus in contact with planets always needs to integrate that interruption of continuity, wants you to step out of the known, the box, and reach out into higher potentials. So here the stimulation goes into the sun and the moon. So what means you get the potential to make changes with things which don't work quite right yet. So maybe you becoming aware where you are off the balance. So you're either too much Cancer oriented, too much inward, too emotionally, or you're too busy worker bee in the world. So the Uranus kind of potentially gives you that moment of insight, that breakthrough, this waking up one morning and you just know this is a change you're going to do. So because Sun and Moon is part of that initiation, of that kind of inspiration, that activation, it will help you to balance that. And around that full moon, I would say a couple of days around it, that's a time when you can wake up and you just know what change you need to do in your life. So also the full moon is easy to imagine that it's the fullest light the moon receives from the sun, from consciousness. And with that, things are exposed we haven't been aware of. And things which have been in more on the level of unconsciousness in us are rising up. And with that, we can deal with them. We can make changes. And Uranus wants to make changes. So you want to keep that in mind with this full moon happening. Okay, my dears, if you have any questions, leave me your comments. Don't forget to my website to sign up for your newsletters if you're a little bit passionate about astrology as I am, so we can keep connected. And if you like this, please like it and share. That will be very helpful to get the message out. So I hope you enjoyed this little astrological forecast, which is just meant for you to become more self-conscious, more decisive, more able to ride the wave of consciousness. So have a wonderful week. Come back, visit me for my weekly forecast videos on Facebook. And I see you when I see you. Aloha, and have a wonderful week.